Okay, so how to create stones on a facade. Basically, what you can do is you can use the cross-section method that we introduced in the previous video. So I'm going to go to the top view. Okay, so this is my building. And then I'm going to create some kind of lines. So let's say I'll make them smooth lines. And I'll start by covering the building from the front. So something like this. Just make sure that all the lines are smooth lines. Okay, or all the vertices are smooth. And then I'm going to copy this. So shift, copy. And I'm going to create 4 or 5 copies. You can use array if you want to. I'll just go to the front view and I'm going to move this little bit up. Now what I'm going to do is let me just do this. I'm going to change the vertices. So let me attach all of them first. So attach this, 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 and this. And then I'm going to create cross section to connect all of them together. Make sure the cross section is smooth. And then I will add surface modifier to create the surface. Flip normals if you need to. Okay, this is what I have. And under the surface, I'm going to add edit spline so I can control the vertices and click on show end result so you can see what will happen in the surface. So I'll select the vertices here. There is not one, there are more than one vertices because of the cross section. And maybe I'll move this one here. I'll select this one. I'll try to cover the building. If you want to go a little bit up to make it more natural, you can. You can, for example, move this one a little bit, and then maybe I'll move this as well, just to make sure that this is kind of natural. Okay, and then I'll select this one, for example. I'll move it a little bit outside to create kind of the stone effect. Maybe I'll move it to the side as well to create some kind of natural stone. I'll take this outside, this inside. Maybe if you want to create some kind of opening, you want to move this to the top like this. Okay, and you can play around with it. And then I'll select this one, I'll move it towards the top. Maybe I want to create some kind of textures toward the exterior, toward the interior. You can play around until you reach the result that you want. Okay, so it will take a bit of time. It will take a bit of like trial and error to get kind of stone-ish texture or geometrical shape, maybe something like this, and so on. So when you reach this kind of result, you have this surface. Now I'm going to add edit poly on top of this surface. And as you can see now, I can have these small polygons. Okay, you can always go to the surface. I'll just show the end result. And you can play around with the number of steps to make the polygons bigger or smaller. And don't worry about not having a smooth surface. We're going to add turbo smooth later on. Now this is my edit poly. This is where I can control my surface. And I'm going to add turbo smooth modifier and increase the iteration to 2. So this is the final result. Okay, now to create the kind of circular opening that we had in the image, I will go to edit poly and I'll go to vertex. Now, as you can see, these are the turbo smooth vertices. Okay, so if you remove the end result, these are the original vertices I had before turbo smooth. You can go to polygon and delete one of the polygons, and this is what you can get at the end. You can delete 2 polygons, 3 polygons, 4 polygons, and this is the final result. But this is kind of squarish little bit. So if you want something more circular, you can go to the vertex and select this vertex, and then you can go to chamfer. So I will increase the chamfering till I reach around this edge, and then I'll change the number of vertices to 0, and then I have this kind of polygon. Okay, and the chamfer effect, let me just go back. When you select chamfer, you can make sure to, let me just do this one, you can make it an open chamfer to automatically delete this kind of polygon instead of going to polygon and then delete it. And when you go to turbo smooth, this is the kind of effect that you're going to get. Okay, of course you can increase this to make it even smoother. Now another thing you can do, you can add shell modifier to give thickness to this kind of object that you have. Okay, here thickness is a lot, so I'll just take it back to 10. For some reason this is wrong, so I'll just delete the turbo smooth. I'll add shell. Okay, this is not accepting the shell modifier, so let's go back to border, because I think what I did is I kept the vertices too close on these sides. This is what is creating the issue. So I will select this border, I will scale it a bit down, and then I'll add shell again. And hopefully, yes, this time I don't have any huge issues. You can increase the outer amount. Let's make it 500. 500 is a lot, but I'm just like following whatever size I have for the model, because this model is not a real building. And then after you add shell, you will add the turbo smooth. Now, if you're creating a thickness for a wall, then you need shell after turbo smooth. But because I want to achieve a more natural look, I will keep the turbo smooth above shell, so it will smooth even the edges. And then again, you can increase the iterations, but be careful because this is doubling the amount of vertices that you have every time. So this is kind of what we have. And then of course you can add edit poly. You can go to vertex or any other kind of selection. You can select use soft selection and increase the fall off. If you remember this as well, you can select any kind of vertex and then you can move it up to create a more natural kind of selection. So I'll increase the fall off to cover this kind of area. So now when I move it using the X and Y, it will create this kind of shape. Okay, maybe I'll select this one. I'll move it a little bit to this side. And then I'll move this down and so on. You can play around until you reach the kind of shape that you prefer. Okay, maybe I'll take something a little bit from inside as well to change the kind of thickness and so on. So this is what I have now. Again, for this step, you need to take your time to play around. You can even move this under turbo smooth and then it will smooth the final effect. This is up to you. This is, you control the narrative. You control what you want to do exactly. So I can add another edit poly. And then I can go to vertex and I can select the vertices, open soft selection, and increase the fall off, of course. Okay, and then you can move these around according to how you prefer. But always try to not have these kind of edges, so you don't have any wrong shapes or, let's say, like incorrect way of modeling. Anyway, so this is a very simple final result. You can do it on a bigger scale. You can trace even the shape. If you remember in Edit Poly, we talked about this in the previous semester as well. We have, when you go to Edge, where is it? So we have here Cut, where you can select a point. Let me go to Edge, Okay, so we have cut. Um, it's not working. Let's try it out. Yes, I think this is working better. But for some reason it's not selecting this. Yeah, no, it's not part of this. Anyways, let me start from this side and then we can play around with it. Yeah, it's not connecting to these points. Anyways, it was a good thing that we can use, but for some reason this is not working right now. Another thing that you can do is you can at this stage use a boolean to remove any kind of shape that you want, and then add the shell and the turbo smooth to make sure that you don't have any kind of issues. Of course, you can add FFD, you can play around with it. So I can use, for example, FFD 4x4, and then maybe I can select this and take it a little bit to the top. I can stretch this and so on. But again, keep in mind that you will have to do the work in order to reach the result that you want. I'm just doing simple shapes right now. And after you are done with all of this, you can always add noise. You can increase the strength and the direction that you want. I'll increase it in all of them right now so you can see it. Okay, but you can increase it in any direction. Now this is not a stone texture. We basically you just need a simpler noise. So I'll increase the scale to make it something like this. And then the rest of the work will be done using the material. So you can increase any kind of direction you want. You can play around with it to reach the kind of effect that you want. And I think you can click on Gizmo and then you can scale it around if you want some kind of texture this way. You can scale it around, you can rotate it, you can play around with it to reach the end result that you want. And then, of course, the rest of the work will be done using materials. I hope that this is beneficial. And yep, never mind. Okay, so I hope that this is beneficial. And if you have any more questions, let me know at any time.